In my hometown, there's a river that I drive past every day. I can remember a time when it would flood the streets after one of the thunderstorms that turned the sky black. But now it's been dry for so long that weeds have started to grow where the water used to flow. Recently, you guys asked me to make a video about writing religions. What if this dead river had the power to bring worlds back to life? You know, I remember when I was younger, this river was just like overflowing. It flowed all the time. A big part of my novel and a big part of where I get inspiration from my novels, I like to kind of connect everything with how humans are hurting nature. So maybe I can somehow bring this into my novel because the river has been so dry recently. My children aren't gonna see the amazing Rio Grande that I grew up with. So maybe we'll take some inspiration from that and put that into my world building and into how I build my religion and how they treat water. I'm not sure, but we'll put a pin in that. We'll write it down in my bullet journal, which I think I left in the car, so maybe I'll just put it in my Notion. I just found some access to the river, so we're gonna go look at it so that I can show you exactly what I meant. This wood is so pretty. I love the way that it kind of rises like that. I actually took some inspiration for that for my world building too. Ooh, or look at this. Behind me is the river that used to be flowing all year round when I was a little girl. So I think I want to try to incorporate that into my world building somehow. The Ashen are a force that is terraforming Eladria to be more like their home planet, which is destroyed and like constantly on fire basically. So maybe I could play that ritualistic aspect into it somehow, where when they heal the earth, they're doing rituals for places like this. Alright, I found a great little place to take a break and have a snack with everyone, so I brought some pistachios. I feel like we got some great stuff to go home and write out a religion and work out what my religion is going to be like, so I'm really excited to share that with you. And this is one of those things that I always do on paper. So when we get back to the house, we're going to sit down with a notebook, sit down with the religion section of my world building topics, which I talked about a little bit last week, and just really flesh out what the religion is going to look like and really thinking about this experience and this little hike for how we're going to draw inspiration for that religion. So I'm very excited to share that process with you, and we're going to enjoy a snack and head on back. Going back to the river reminded me of how quickly the world around us is dying. I imagine it's the same way the Eladrians in my novel feel about the Hollowed Lands. So I asked myself how I could take that pain to bring my character's world back to life. So I've got my notebook here in front of me, and I already have it opened up to my religions page, and the religion that we're working on today right now is called Emilism, but I also need to work on Moorism, and I'm probably going to use both of these as placeholder names. I don't think I'm actually going to stick with those at the end. Usually when I do this, I just put in parentheses that it's a placeholder or that I need to come up with a new name, just some kind of note that I'm not totally happy with the sound of the name, or, you know, maybe it'll work out. Who knows? I'm gonna go make make some turmeric milk tea, and I'm going to tell you why turmeric milk tea is the perfect tea to drink in the evenings during your follicular phase to help you maximize your productivity. And then we're going to spend a little bit of time fleshing out these religions. I'm very excited. I've never made a religion from scratch before, so I'm really looking forward to taking everything that we got inspired by earlier and really putting it in here. This is also the perfect time to share with you my keyword for this video. And if you don't know, I use these keywords to make a haiku. I'm really excited because this is the last sentence of our haiku. So if you've missed any of the keywords from the last few videos, that's how you can finish your haiku. It's just by watching those videos and finding the keywords within. I'll have the videos linked down in the description. But your sentence today is "True love blooms within." There's lots of different reasons why turmeric milk is a great beverage to drink during your follicular phase, but one of the primary reasons is hormonal regulation. Turmeric naturally promotes estrogen balance and helps you to have regular menstrual cycles. That way you're never questioning when things happen. Plus, if you're in the middle of trying to get pregnant, turmeric is great for protecting your maturing egg follicles, which may make it easier for them to get fertilized. Now, the reason you drink turmeric in milk is because the fats in the milk help to make it more available for your body and make it easier for your body to absorb it. I'll have the recipe I used in the description down below. If you like to avoid dairy, then coconut milk is a great alternative. I cannot believe this. A fly landed in my tea. Gross. I think I'll just get some matcha because... Okay, I got matcha turmeric tea, so hopefully that's a nice middle ground between peppermint turmeric milk tea and me being happy. It's fly free, so there's that. Alright, so I have sort of fleshed out the religions. I've gotten all of the basic information that I need down. I'm sure as I write the book, I will slowly over time add more stuff. So I have two primary religions in my story. The main difference is that Emilism was initially inspired by Christianity, so it's messianic, and of course the Messiah is the main character. It's not gonna be like Dune, where we're pretending to be the Messiah in order to accomplish our goals. She is actually the Messiah, she just doesn't know it. I kind of putzed around a little bit because I was thinking about, as we were walking along the river, I was thinking about how I was just sad that the river is drying up. It's been dry all summer long, and so for a few minutes I was sort of thinking that the way the Messiah is in the story would be with water and like water-based, but then I decided I was fixating a little bit too much on the actual river aspects that we talked about earlier, and really the main thing is that she is prophesied to restore the hallowed lands in the story. So I went back to that and I kind of switched back to that, and the way my magic system works is that it manifests magic using the ley lines, and there's 7 primary ley lines in my story and each one has a different color, so I thought I would make the symbol the rainbow. And overall there had to be a prophecy, there has to be a Messiah, and then a big thing that you need to think about when you're making a religion is relating it to what the characters would actually be worried about, as well as like real life situations. So Emilism is primarily going to be all of the healers are practiced in the arts of Emilism, and they have to swear in order to become a healer. And so that's the most important aspect of Emilism to society. It's a fairly young religion because in the grand scheme of things, the Ashen have only been invading Eladria for about 200 years. So I had to keep that in mind, that it is a younger religion, but because of the threat of the Ashen and how quickly they've created all of the different hallowed lands, it took off really fast. And the most important thing for my story that I have to be thinking about, especially now, is that ordeals are going to be considered sacred to a meal. And so each of the love interests is going to have to go through a near-death experience in order to be chosen by a meal. And then that's going to be part of the big capital P plot of my story, is that each of the characters is going to go through some kind of near-death experience. I also tried to flesh out Moorism a little bit. It still feels too much like Buddhism, but I'm making it a little bit more animist. I drew from the water because I do want the water to be kind of important, and so in Moorism, water is going to be a big thing for them, and their ultimate goal is, because everything is temporary, they need to let go of their attachments and become like water. So that is why water is sacred to the Moors. All of their temples are going to be placed by water, and water in any form is considered sacred. And I think this will be really interesting just to see how it plays out with Liam, because he is a Moorist for the first half of the series, and ultimately the Ashen are trying to get rid of water on Eladria. That is it's more complicated than that, but if you wanted to think of it that way, that is ultimately what the Ashen are trying to accomplish. They want to terraform Eladria to be more like their home of Vectuil. And so this gives me opportunity to make some interesting scenes with Liam, where I can actually go in and he can see like a hollowed land being created or something, and just see the water like being sucked out of it, and maybe that could cause a crisis of faith for him. Since I sat down and actually did this and like wrote out my own religion from scratch, I think that has really expanded some of the opportunities for my other characters. And so I'm really happy that I actually went out into nature and saw the things that I was passionate about and really thought about the things that I was passionate about, because if I hadn't gone out on that walk, and if I hadn't thought about the river drying up and there being no water, then the inspiration for Moorism probably would be still much more in tune with what Buddhism is. I mean, you can obviously tell in there that it's still very heavily inspired by Buddhism, but I feel like it's starting to shift to something a little bit more unique. And it's not that important in the first book, so I think that gives me a little bit of freedom in that I don't have to have everything figured out for Moorism right in the beginning, but it does give me a good idea of where I can send Liam's character arc. So I'm really happy that I did this, and that I actually went out and like brought my passions into it and brought the things that I really care about into it. And we can't raise our quill with actually doing some writing, so of course we're gonna have a little montage of me getting some words in and meeting my word count, and I invite you to do the same. Please take these next few minutes to write with me, and let's get typing. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. Check out the video on the screen to find out how I find the time to write my novel even as a twin mom with ADHD.